Kaboom!
Hey, what's going on, guys? Ty, hope you're having a great weekend. So today I want to talk about the 5 things I think are most important for new collectors, sports card hobbyists, sports card investors, whatever, to consider and to implement when entering the hobby. And an illustration that came to mind was something that happened this week. You can see this video here that I'm showing. This is one of our new kittens, and we put her in a barn with her other brother and sister kittens. And there was some mice loose, and she went and she grabbed the first mouse and then grabbed the second mouse. And at one point had both mice in her mouth. And you can see this here. She's got one mouse in her mouth and the other one down, getting ready to go in for the kill. And I just got a chuckle out of it because it made me think about how the hobby can sometimes really swallow you up as a new collector, right? You got the investors, the hobbyists, the collectors, and you just feel overwhelmed sometimes. You don't know what to do. The marketplace has a tendency of usually winning. That's the best way to put it, unless you have a strategy, unless you know what you're doing. So I want to give you my 5 things to consider, 5 things to do when entering the hobby. And these can be used for veteran collectors as well, but these are the things that I had some conviction about. Number 1, and the most important thing, I think, is to know your limits. And that can apply, financially, that can apply mentally, that can apply with your time. But you need to have a good idea of what your limits are and stick to that. It's the opposite of goals, right? You just want to go into it knowing, okay, when I bump up against these limits, that I back off and I make sure I'm sticking to my plan. So I advise you, number 1, just know your limits. For me, a practical limit, and I made this agreement with my wife years ago, and it was because things were kind of getting out of hand. I told her, she asked me, right? You need to stop letting things get out of hand with your stacks in your desk. And she was right. And so I made a deal where I would not open new packs of cards until I cleared off the current set of cards on my desk. Either that's organizing them, putting them in their sets, selling them, whatever it may have been, right? But I'm not going to open new cards until I get that part cleared. There's also very practical financial limits you can set on yourself too, just to make sure that you're not getting out of hand. So that's number 1, know your limits. Number 2, have conviction and pursue things that you really enjoy, things that you love. And that can apply just to a player, a team, that can apply to an era. You may have grown up collecting in a certain era and you want to go back and find cards in that era. It may apply to certain types of cards that you just enjoy. I would highly advise you to collect and to build your strategy around things that you have conviction of and that you enjoy. And I don't like the term investing in sports cards. I like the term building a profitable collection. And the reason I like that is because you are going to buy and sell cards. And usually the way I do it is I buy and sell cards for players that I don't like, or I shouldn't say don't like, for they don't have conviction around. And I use that as a way to fund my own personal collection strategies. There is nothing worse than collecting something, pursuing something that you don't have conviction about. And so my number 2 point would be just make sure you understand what your convictions are and be sure to collect things that you do enjoy and like. Number 3, create fun goals, set fun goals. There is a lot of goals that you can set in the hobby. We've had videos about this. Mike's done videos about this. But I just encourage you to create goals that are fun. And every year when I'm collecting, I try to, even if you just write it down or just think about it, I try to come up with some goals that are just going to be really fun and different for me. I remember I want to say it was in 2017, I had the goal of accumulating 5 different colored parallels of Alberto Mondesi, shortstop for the Royals. Last year, my goal was to collect 10 different parallels and or autographs of Michael Porter Jr. That was rookie year, 2018-19. You take pride in those types of goals and the pieces and the cards that you accumulate within those goals, and regardless of the values. And we've had plenty of videos about this, right? And everyone thinks that we're doom and gloom, and that's not the case at all. We're just showing you the data, the facts. Regardless of whether the market's going up or down, when you set goals and you accumulate certain cards, you don't care about the value of those cards. And it becomes a lot more enjoyable when you don't care about the value of certain cards. So I would just advise you to set fun goals and stick to them and try to accomplish them. Build sets, collect certain grade levels, collect certain insert subsets, whatever it may be, right? Go after a 10 parallels of a player. It becomes really fun when you do that. Number 4, don't overcomplicate the hobby. And I'll give you just a quick primer for those that are very new to the hobby, because it can become very overwhelming. Like the two mice getting swallowed up, you can get swallowed up in all of the different varieties that exist now compared to what exists even 20 years ago or 40 years ago. A couple things to note. There are licenses, and manufacturers hold licenses in different sports. Upper Deck holds a license for hockey, for instance. Basketball and football, Panini holds a license for that. So all the Panini products, they're licensed. And in baseball, Topps owns a license. And licensing really means one thing, and that is they have the right to create actual cards with actual logos, team logos, and put those on their cards. So when you see a Panini baseball product, you'll notice they don't have the team logos, or they're able to Photoshop out the name or the logos out of the jerseys, and it's become just a player card at that point. Some people that doesn't matter, but it's just important to know that there's licenses and those brands, those manufacturers hold those licenses. Now, when you're looking at strategies for getting into the hobby and figuring out where to go with this, it can become kind of complicated, right? Because you have all these rookie cards, you have all these prospect cards, all these chrome and non-chrome, and what to do. Let me simplify this the best way I can. So in baseball, there are rookie cards, right? And the rookie cards they exist when a player is called up to the major leagues. Those base rookie cards are usually in Topps flagship products, Topps Series 1, Series 2, and Update. You will get rookie cards in all the other brands as well, Heritage, the Bowmans, and all that stuff. You get rookie cards in the Panini products, right? But the commonly accepted primary rookie card is going to be the Topps flagship rookie. There'll be a Chrome version of that in Topps Chrome. You can get the Chrome version of those rookies as well. Prospect cards exist in Bowman. Bowman first, you'll see that kind of the upper left-hand or upper right-hand corner, you'll see Bowman first card. That's their first card before they get called up to the majors. That becomes their card. You'll find that in Bowman, Bowman Draft, or Bowman Chrome. So there's different strategies about collecting prospect cards versus collecting rookie cards. And we'll maybe put out a video on that, but you can find videos on that as well, and what you decide to do. Those are where I would err towards the side of what people accept, and that's in baseball. There's high-end cards. There's a variety of high-end cards, from Transcendent for $50,000 a box to Tier 1 to Triple Threads, which is really fun, right? Figure out what you like, and you can pursue those. But I would say stick to what's really accepted. Now, in basketball and in football, the base rookies for football is typically going to be a Donruss. You'll find the Donruss base rookie non-chrome card in Donruss football. You'll also find it in Score, but I think people commonly accept Donruss, the rated rookie, as the rookie card. The chrome cards will end up being Prism, or the optic version of which is the chrome version of Donruss, and potentially the others like Select and Mosaic, but Prism and optic are generally the ones that are accepted. Now, when it comes to football rookie autographs, Contenders is still the king. So Panini Contenders, which usually comes out in late December, early January, becomes the de facto standard for rookie autograph cards in football. There's plenty of high-end national treasures, immaculate, flawless, that exist in football. Now, in basketball, very similar. Base rookie cards you're going to find are NBA Hoops and Donruss. Those are the two primary base rookie cards, non-chrome. And then you'll find the chrome version, which is Prism's the main. There's no, base, non-chrome version of Prism. But the, Donruss Optic is extremely popular and probably the number 2 rookie card. And then you'll find, now there's a Hoops Premium, which was new last year. You'll find Select and Mosaic. I would say if you're looking for chrome, stick to Prism and Optic in basketball. Same thing holds true for upper end In basketball, National Treasures, Flawless, Immaculate, all those, thousands of dollars per box. But and then in hockey, very simple. Upper Deck, Series 1, Series 2 for the young guns rookies. And then high end, I typically see people gravitate towards, Upper Deck, the Cup. So anyway, I say all that because there's all these brands. You got thousands and thousands of parallels and versions of people's cards, players' cards every year. Don't overcomplicate it. There's things that are accepted. And if you're looking to get into this for the first time, stick to what people accept, and then start adding some spiciness into your collecting down the road after you figure out kind of what you enjoy, how values work for all these flagships, all that good stuff. Okay, that's number 4. Number 5, I would say sow patience into your strategy. And there's 2 elements to this. One, I think it's really important, and again, we've put a lot of videos out recently just about the decline in prices overall, and interpret that how you want. I think it's important. One of my takeaways and kind of what's happened the last 4 or 5 months is it's really important to diversify the way you collect. Now, some people it doesn't matter, right? Guys that are just collecting and aren't necessarily looking at potentially selling some of their cards, they don't care. And that's okay. That's totally fine. But for folks that do care, you want to find ways to diversify in a way that doesn't restrict the way you want to stick to your strategy. So for instance, if you like certain eras, if you like certain rookie classes, if you like certain teams, you want to pursue them. 2018-19 is a great example, right? I think that rookie class in basketball is going to go down as one of the best ever. It's extremely expensive. It was expensive a year ago. It was expensive a year and a half ago. But a good way to collect that is to not just stick to the guys but to potentially buy wax and hold the wax. And you can do that and feel pretty comfortable that that's not going to get totally slammed by the market collapsing. You can also buy complete sets. I think it's kind of a forgotten strategy in a good way to diversify is just to buy a complete set. Either put it together yourself or buy a complete set of certain products. Prism's a great one. Buy a hoops complete set for relatively cheap. And it's a good way to kind of build anchors in your collection, patience in your collection that don't necessarily get you so caught up in the ups and downs of player movements. The other piece of that is when you see prices falling like they have, and you start to look at, we did a video a week and a half ago, Tyson and I, just about the prices of certain baseball rookies, for instance, right? You're looking at guys that are, to buy their graded flagship rookie, it's below the cost of grading. And for instance, and I think this is actually a strategy I'm using right now. You can go buy a Gleyber Torres PSA 10 Topps Update rookie for less than $20, and it costs you $30 to grade the card, $25 to grade the card. It's a no-brainer to go grab 5 of those for $100. You can also go grab the gold parallel, number to 2018. The gold usually goes for about 10x, 8 to 10x the flagship. You can go get a gold Gleyber Torres Topps base rookie, Gem Mint PSA 10 for less than $200. So for $300, I can add 5 Gleybers base, 1 gold, and I can sit on it. I can add it to my collection. I don't have any conviction necessarily about Gleyber Torres, but I can put that in my portfolio of cards, knowing that a year from now, if for some reason, if he does start to reach his potential after this year and a half of falling out, he gets traded or he has a great kind of burst. I got into a player for cheap with upside. I bought the Gem Mint rookies. I got a card in the gold that's already got scarcity built into it. I got some cards like in the base rookie cards that people always tend to want. And I got it for $300. So next year, 2022, if Gleyber Torres comes around and I sell that for $500, that whole, investment of $300, I just created $200 cash flow for me to put into my personal collection. So that to me is how you start to be patient, but also profitably build your collection. So it's things like that I think are really important. Just being very, strategic, but just being patient and putting things in your portfolio of sports cards that protect you and also potentially give you upside in the future to help kind of fuel more money and fund more money into your own personal collection account. So those are my quick thoughts. Again, number one, know your limits. Number two, have conviction and pursue some things that you do really love, that you want to show off to people. Number three, set fun goals, man. And number four, don't overcomplicate this hobby. And number five, sow patience into your strategy. So you might feel like that mouse being swallowed up by the kitten, but know that there are some very simple ways that you can make sure, as a new collector, as an old collector, you're enjoying this hobby as best you can. All right, hope you have a great week. Talk to you soon.